excited.
Thank you for flying me out to Dubai. Only I have these privileges, guys. You know, when you're naturally
exclusive.
when you have a real talent, okay, you get these privileges. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Period. How's your morning going? Good morning. Good morning.
Pretty good. Pretty good morning so far. You know, I woke up, I pimp slapped a couple folks, and I'm good. I'm here. You know, my mom always says, "Man, swing on somebody today, because tomorrow's not promised."
It's never.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you like really remember swinging on somebody, like first, like
man,
the last time you remember doing that?
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I never swung on anybody first. Maybe my baby daddy. I hit him with a bat a couple times.
Woo! Tell about it.
Plastic bat. It wasn't like the wooden bat with the plastic. You remember them big ass bats with the fat end?
Like yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Them giants had to fuck him up real quick.
Well, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day. Do you want any more kids, or you cool on children?
Man, listen. I said if I don't have any more by 30, it's a wrap. I just turned 30 this year, so it's looking like it's a wrap. It depends. If somebody come along, you know, and they got the
criteria that you want met.
Exactly. Then I'm open, but it's definitely not happening after 33 because nobody got time to be no grandma. Next thing you know, your kid graduated high school, you about 60 years old.
That was my parents. That was my parents. It was like you know what? For so long, I thought having, I thought for so long, I thought having if you had teenage parents or really young parents, that meant your parents could be cool and they can do what you want, but let you do what you want. But that's not true. I done met some parents out there who were more strict than my mom, and I think it's because they didn't want their kids to do the same thing that they did. In a sense, you know, like were your parents pretty strict, or were they like how like what was your parents parentals like?
My mom was not strict at all, but we always had open communication. Mm-hmm. So it was always like, it wasn't nothing to hide or nothing to kind of like, you know, keep from her. I mean, I did hide my pregnancy for a little while, but then she found out.
Okay. Were you a teenager, or how old were you?
Yeah, I was really young. My mom had me at 18, and then I had my first daughter at 14, going on 15.
I got a joke for that once you finish what you're saying.
Ooh, my daughter's birthday is May, my birthday is June. So I was going into 15, and then I had my second daughter at 18. So I had both of my kids as a teenager.
Oh, I was gonna say that twat is throwback, and you know that.
Ooh, period. Somebody just sent me a meme talking about, oh, if she had sex like this, she been fucking since middle school. And I have.
Okay, so let's talk about that, right? So for me, you know, I of course the hormones started coming in, I would say, when I was in middle school as well, you know, and I think I had like this whole like orgy fantasy about John Cena, my first husband at that time. You know, my first jungle fever. So what was sex education? Did your mom talk to you about like sex education, or did you just learn that at school, or how did you learn about sex education?
I think from what I remember, I asked a lot of questions. Like I asked my mom a lot of questions, and my mom would just answer the question straight up. But I don't think that kind of like curved me away from wanting to try things. I was just always into it. It's like, oh, I guess I could try it. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot from my mom. I can't remember if we ever went into like details as far as like, you know, STDs and all that stuff like that. But whatever questions I had, she definitely answered.
Got it. The guy who when you lost your virginity, was it to that same guy who you have a child by, or was that a different guy?
No, that was a different guy, which was crazy because the guy, I mean, you know, typical, the guy I lost my virginity to was my first love. But then, you know, we're young and, you know, guys aren't trying to be into that love stuff. So I remember he started dating somebody else. And I used to always try to get them to break up. Like, oh, you gonna break up with her? You gonna break up with her? You gonna break up with her?
Oh, go ahead, plot on him. Plot on him.
You still talking to so-and-so? Y'all still saying that you gonna break up with her? But because the whole time it was just like, you know, you still seeing her, but I guess she ain't doing that. So you got to come over here. And I was just like, so you gonna break up with her? You gonna break her? We were dating when I lost the virginity. It just was afterwards he started dating somebody else. So I used to always try to get him to break up with it. So over the summer is when I met my baby daddy. So I was still the same age. I lost my virginity at 13, had the baby at 14. So
Got
you
it. Well,
know,
now with that guy,
I lasted for a good long time.
that is good. No, that's good. Now, wait, with your kid's father, like, did you guys all go to school together? Like, how'd you end up meeting him?
Oh, I met him over the summer. You know how that was my first summer job, just trying to get some money. Just like, oh, they have a summer job. I'm gonna try that. Ain't shit going on during the summer. We're not taking trips and stuff like that. So I'm
Of
like,
course,
I'm
of
trying to put
course.
some money in my pocket so I can spend it. Get a little ice cream truck money. So I had met him at the summer job that I was working at. He just lived in the neighborhood.
Got it. Now, did he try to make it romantic? Like, oh, I'm gonna put rose petals out. Like,
girl, a 14-year-old with some rose petals.
I don't know. Like,
again.
I mean, some people are hopeless. They're like, hey, I'm gonna make it special. I don't like that day, like the conception day. I didn't know, like, if you try to. I know you guys weren't planning, but like, anything like that.
No, because it wasn't his idea, believe it or not.
Really?
I've always been like the strong person that I'm like, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna try it. And he's kind of like, he told me no a couple times.
Oh, look at him being reserved. Yeah. I like this guy.
And then I had caught him one good time at a party. Back in the day, we used to throw those house parties. And he had one at his house. And I was like, this is my chance.
Oh, go ahead. You plotting. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead now.
I definitely plotted them. So it wasn't romantic in no form or fashion. It was more like a quickie type of a thing. So, because there was a house full of people.
I never got it. Man, my childhood was so like boring. I never got invited to any of those. You
just show up. You just know about it and you show up.
The high. Well, that's the thing. Like, I was strict parents. Like, I couldn't. Who's gonna take me there? Like, nobody was gonna come pick me up, drop me off. The people around me, nobody had cars.
I took the bus. We was taking the bus every day.
In my county, the county that I went to high school in out here in Atlanta, we didn't have a bus line. I didn't have any money. I didn't have nothing. Like nothing. Like how you said, let me do a summer job. You was already hustling in that mentality. I was like, let me just play basketball and go outside when the kids come outside. Like that's pretty much how my mindset was about, So, I never did get a chance to go to those house parties. I do remember I was 16 and I remember getting invited over the summer to like some type of co-ed sleepover. But of course you say, oh, it's just going to be girls. But still, my mom did not want to drop me off there. Like I think in her mind already knew.
Mom was like,
I'm not doing that. So like I said, I missed that. Now, the day that you found out you were pregnant, because they say there are a couple things that sometimes you can know, like, okay, cream pie is life. You can either feel it or sometimes you just don't know, So the day you found out, what were some of the signs that you realized, okay, something might be up with me?
That's a great question. I'm really trying to remember because I haven't thought about that ever. It was just kind of like intuition, if you will. It was like I just knew. Gotcha. I don't know. It wasn't like miss my period type of a thing. It was just like a feeling, like something was different. And then I'm trying to remember if I ever actually went to get a pregnancy test. I don't think I ever did. Like, not even like a CVS version or nothing. I don't think I ever went and got a pregnancy test. It was just like, I just knew that's what it was. And then as time progressed, it was the confirmation.
Of course. And your mother was very disappointed that you just didn't share those things with her?
Yes, because we had a very open relationship. We talk about everything. And then for whatever reason, I felt like I needed to hide this from her. And I don't even know what it was. Nobody knew I was pregnant. Nobody. My friends knew later on. But mind you, I was 100 pounds soaking wet in middle school. Okay. So it wasn't much of a belly, and I wore my backpack in the front, but I wore my backpack like that all the time. So nobody, thought of anything. And nobody found out I was pregnant until I was about 8 months. I didn't know what my plan was. I ain't have one. But yeah, nobody found out. No, the school snitched on me.
Not the school, wow.
Somebody who knew. It must have, like, how the rumors start or whatever. And I just remember like 3 teachers and the principal like ganging up on me like this. Like I thought they was about to jump me. I didn't know what was going on. They just was like, whoop. And they was looking at me like, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? I'm just like, no, y'all tripping. And they called my mama. Yeah, my mom didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks, like silent treatment.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so one day, okay, a couple weeks later, she just came to your room and says, I'm ready to talk. Or how did she say come eat? How did she start?
How did it go? Honestly, I don't remember those small details like that. I just remember once the silent treatment was over, it was just like a huge support. Doctor's appointments, baby showers. Everybody was excited after the silent treatment was over.
Now with your kid's father, how did he feel once he found out?
Girl, bang. So he was like excited initially, but you know how people get into their ears, like how do you know if that's your baby? How do you la la la? You know, it's like all of a sudden they become the victim, and you become somebody that plotted on them as if I was here by myself. So you know what I'm saying? So it became this whole thing. It was like super excited up until I gave birth. Then it became, I don't know if that's my baby. I gotta get a DNA test. I'm not helping you with nothing, and la 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 la. I don't know. It was all of that. I'm like, wow. So you really let somebody get into your ear and really plague you like that? Like that's wild to me. Long story short, definitely was his baby. We were too young, so obviously our parents and our family was helping us with a lot of things. And then once his family kind of stopped helping, that was kind of like the end of his support too. It was terrible. Terrible.
Did you go through a depression because of that?
No, ma'am. I was sad for 2 weeks. I didn't go through like a depression, and it wasn't because of him. It was the stereotype. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be a single mother. I had a teenage mother, single mother. No, I'm like, there's no way this is happening to me right now, because mind you, me and him had a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like we were supposed to be in this together. We was going to build it, because both of us did not have like great relationship with our dad growing up.
And I was going to ask you about your father next.
Yeah. We both had a plan. We spoke. And next thing I know, he started, it was not his baby and all this other stuff like that. And then somehow he started talking to this girl that looks like Lauren London. I can't make this up. Lauren, how old is Lauren London? She's
She's like 35, 36.
Okay, yeah, she's a little bit older than us now. So I was gonna say that her and Lauren London could have been, split up at birth or something like that. The girl's nickname is Nunu. Like this was, back in the ATL days. So I'm just like, how the fuck he even bag her? Like, not like she looks similar. She could be Lauren Lawrence, like stunt double. Standing next to each other, you cannot tell them apart. So I was like, how you bag her? She must have low self-esteem or something. I don't know.
When you be looking at some guys like, bro, how'd you get that? Now, did you ever talk to Nunu? Did you ever have a conversation with her and say, sis, what is it about?
Being extremely helpful at first. She was buying clothes, shoes, stuff like that. Because mind you, a bitch like me not going nowhere. I'm at the house every day. So we just gonna be at the house. We either gonna do this together or you could leave, because I'm not going anywhere.
Got you. I didn't know if he had some type of personality that she liked, like he was pretty funny. Because sometimes if you ugly or whatever, you hilarious, girl, that gets girls as well.
Honestly,
maybe he had money. I don't know.
No. Honestly, there was nothing appealing about him. And I know this is putting myself out there, but for whatever reason, when I was younger, my mentality was, if I date the ugly guy, no one else is gonna want to try to talk to him, or he's not gonna cheat or try to, because you the ugly nigga, don't nobody but you want me.
Exactly.
Nobody wants you but me. It's only so that was my mentality at that time. because where I told you, like, my first love started talking to some other girl, after he got the cooch. So I was like, I'm gonna just date the ugly guy. Nobody gonna want him. Wasn't nothing really appealing to him. I just picked out the ugly guy and just started dealing with him.
Maybe she had that same mentality, as well. So I didn't know if you ever had, conversation, be like, sis, let's talk woman to woman. Okay. Why are you with him? Let's keep it real. What is your reason?
Right. We definitely had that conversation, but I don't even remember what she said. But
Gotcha.
long story short, she ended up becoming a porn star.
Really?
Yeah.
Like her videos are still out there now?
It probably is, but it was on some weird platform I never heard of before. Years ago, somebody sent the link to me, and it was something, I don't even know what it was. Like, it wasn't like Pornhub or nothing like we would know, like Backpage or nothing like that. It was something else, some other type of platform. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay. So
you know what? Well, I would.
That's the last I've known about her.
Well, asking for a friend. Friend needs
Right.
to see the video. So just, if you find it, send it over.
Asking for a friend. Let me see what I could dig up 10 plus years later.
That is, what's so crazy, right? You would think, like I said, people that you go to school with, you would not, unless you go to like the type of school that you went to, the demographics, was it like because I went to a middle upper class type of school where it was like rich people of different ethnicities. I don't know how we got there because we were struggling. So yeah, it was it was like 60% white,
right,
35% black, and whatever percentage other, right?
Yeah.
Was your school similar like that, or was it like mostly like a black school, or what type of school did you go to?
So I went to TC Williams in Alexandria. The Titans.
Louisiana?
The Titans. No, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the school I went to, and I feel like it was mostly black. Because I feel like a lot of like the predominant families, their kids went to Bishop Ironton. It was like a private school, but we definitely had very mixed, like everybody was in there, melting pots, rich, poor, whatever, black, white, whatever. We had a whole melting pot, but I feel like it probably was predominantly black.
Got you. So it was like upper class in a way, or middle class?
I would definitely go with middle to upper class, because those white kids was driving. They was driving. I was like, I want a car. I didn't even know you could drive. We got our learner's permit in high school. Like, we had a whole driver's ed course and culinary school. You could come out of high school with certification. So it was definitely like a middle upper class type of school. You could come out with any type of certification in that joint. Like, so the classes were certified, like marketing, childcare, photography, what else? The driver's ed, culinary. Like, you could come out of high school with a certificate and go get a job.
You know what?
We had auto mechanics too, so you could get your.
Wow, I should have gone to y'all school. We didn't really have anything. We just had home economics, and then they took that out a year later.
We had
y'all had like a hair, like cosmetology.
Yeah, cosmetology. We had all of that. You could literally graduate high school with any license.
Why don't they put that in every school? Like, my school. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my, I wish I could have had, because the only way that I knew about I didn't even know there was a cosmetology school in classes, in schools, until I went to like the lower income urban neighborhoods. Like, they had that. Plus, of course, did you guys have metal detectors?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah, they had the metal detectors and everything else like that, but they had that. They didn't have your school was a jack of all trades, right? It fit with everybody. So, but at my school, we didn't have that. I honestly, there were certain classes with healthcare where you actually had to take a baby home and pretty much be the parent for a couple months. I think that could have been required for everybody. When it came to
we definitely had that. Was that home ec? It was some class that was like home ec, but I think they call it like health and consumer science.
Yeah, we see an
egg home. We didn't take a baby, but we took an egg home for a little while.
Yeah, but we didn't see, like I said, we didn't even do we didn't even like we had like certain classes, like, certain students were able to take that class. But like I said, me personally, I never took that. Like we didn't, like, it was not given to everybody. When I was in ninth grade, for healthcare, they took away sex education. Like the last time I had it was in middle school, and I'm like, guys, this is dumb, because kids are it's heightened now for you to have like sex, because people are driving, they get jobs that can take you to a hotel,
Hello.
Like that, like that's the thing about that. So they didn't even, they're like, I said, why can't we talk about, oh, they're just taking it out. I'm like, well, you guys can provide like, birth control and contraceptives. No, we're not gonna do that.
Right.
So people just gonna walk around with STDs and pregnant. Okay. But again,
yeah, the school has a clinic in it now. That's more of a newer thing that they did right before I graduated too. So like you can go in there, you don't need your parents' consent for anything. Everything is like private. So it kind of gives you, like, as a young adult, that privacy. You can go in there and talk about whatever, get information and all that. My daughter just went in there the other day to do some like doctor's appointment, a physical that she needed to try out for the cheerleading team. So I think that that's really nice that they have that for the kids too.
That to me is actually amazing. Like that your school is very prepared. Your school is very prepared, and I just wish more schools can be like that. Like I remember in college, I went to a community college, and I remember they said write a paper about whatever topic of your choice and try to argue the point or whatever else it may be. And I remember the arguing of the point is like the question was, should contraception be given out as early as middle school? And then there were parents, because it's like a community college, because you have people from the ages of 18 to all the way to 80. Right. And there were parents in there who said, no, I don't want my child's school to give out contraception. Like, I don't care. And I'm like, you think your kid is, not doing nothing? No, they're not going to do nothing. I raised them right. I'm like, what? What?
It has nothing to do with anything.
What does that have to? So let me ask you this. Now that you have a child who is high school, correct?
Yeah, she just got to 10th grade.
So what have been some of the conversations that you've had with your daughter? And do you have a daughter and a son, or a daughter and daughter?
2 daughters, yeah.
Okay.
15 and 11.
All right, so I got a question. Which one between the 15 and 11-year-old has the one that you may almost like had to, like get up in their face, like, don't you talk back to me? Which one would you say?
Girl, the oldest, because she was in like a little testy phase where she's kind of super quiet, but she always has an attitude. And I could never understand what she was always angry about. And I would be able to talk to her for 2 hours and not get any information. And she would just always be mad. And I'm just like, what are you so mad about all the time? One time I snatched all the stuff out her room and put it in the living room. She ain't have nothing. I was mad. I took everything all the way down to the blankets off the mattress, girl. She was in there sleeping on a naked mattress with no pillows. I'm like, this little girl, I'm like, you gotta go. I sent her to her dad's house. She was supposed to stay for a while, ended up coming back like 3 days later. I'm like,
there's like, return to sender. Return. Did you ever do therapy to figure out what was going on with that therapy?
So I asked her, because I'm super open. I value their opinions and the things that they feel like, they would want to do. So I've asked her a few times if she wants to do therapy. I know in middle school, she would meet with her counselor regularly, because I guess that's what made her feel comfortable. And then the counselor would just come back and kind of tell me a little bit about what they talked about, because not too much, because it is kind of like confidential between them, but she would kind of like point me in the right direction of like what's going on with her. And I know that she's kind of like dealing mentally with a lot of things, as far as, her dad not really, kind of being in and out or whatever. And then I ended up getting married, and then I ended up being kind of like extremely depressed in some of those years. So kind of like she might have felt like both of us were absent in a sense. So it's just like, I think that finally now, like over COVID and stuff, she kind of was able to break out into her own shell, kind of like fill those things out. We had a really large conversation, because I know it was a lot of things that she couldn't really understand at the time. So I actually set both of them down and just kind of did this big, huge apology spiel, because I never did that before. I'm used to like hiding things from them, But the truth is, it's just like, you just got to be open. You just got to be honest. And they know everything about me. They know what I went through. They know, you know, the reasonings for why I might have been the way that I was at during that time. So I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
was a huge breakthrough. And we've been pretty much good over the whole COVID up till now.
Got you. Okay, well that's good. That is good. I know, like, having a daughter, girls can be, they can test you now. Like I got a female cat. The one that flies at you says meow. Female
Ah,
cats are worse than male cats. They really are. And I'm like,
oh
bro,
my gosh.
why could I not have had a son? I wanted a son, and you came in my life. I don't want you. Then
I
I was
don't
gonna have another female
know.
cat. So two cats in the house who are just like horrible people, man. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I
Be
definitely
flying at
had two
me.
pets. They do weird stuff. They scratch you for no reason. I don't.
You said you used to have cats, or you just had neighborhood cats?
I had two female cats, and they was mean. They were
No,
always
of course. So what happened to them? What was the end result?
my mom kept trying to my mom kept trying to get rid of them, so I locked myself in the bathroom for a whole weekend, and then she waited for me to go to school and came back from work and got rid of them. I was so sad.
Oh, what were
Yeah.
their names?
One of them was Bright Eyes, and the other one was, oh my god, I don't remember, because I had an all black cat. That one was Bright Eyes, and then I had like one of the gray stripy colored cats. And I don't remember what I called. I want to say Frisky, but it was such a long time ago.
Gotcha. No, no, I'm telling you, the reason why that the male cats aren't gonna do that, they're not just gonna scratch you for no reason. Female cats are horrible. I like animals. I would like to have, what my thing is. I wish these pet owners would spay and neuter their animals, so the pet population just won't be out of control. Like I live in the hood, right? So if you hear some gunshots, just ignore it. It's okay. They're just
Right,
celebrating
it's
that
fine.
I'm out here
It's
on
fine.
podcasts. But with that being said, I just like coming into the neighborhood when I first got here 3 years ago. It was like 25 cats just roaming, like running amok. And I'm like, bro. And then, like, I think they all died. I don't know what happened, but last
He
cats
said,
I've
I think they
seen,
all
yeah,
died.
I don't know. Like they decreased, man. The last cat I've seen was a white cat, and she, I guess, was with her boyfriend and a small
Oh,
child, and she was pregnant. And I looked at her,
oh, not a family.
and I looked at her. I don't know who that person was. Probably was her pimp. I don't know. But I looked at her and I said, "Hey," and she looked back at me like she did like this. I said,
Wow.
"Who have you been having unprotected sex with?" And she ran
Right.
off.
Oh Lord. You don't want to go to Hawaii then. Hawaii purposefully lets they have wild cats. Like they
Okay.
house cats, but they
Mm-hmm.
all live outside. So apparently Hawaii has like a really bad mouse problem.
Mm.
So they purposely put cats out into the wild to control the mouse problem. Yeah, cats just be walking around outside like birds. I don't know. I'm just like,
So nobody tells you these things until you actually live in these states. This stuff never gets reported. Someone told me that Hawaii has a lot of I say heroin, but for the ones that don't understand the vernacular, heroin, okay, has a lot of heroin issues. And I'm like, wow, not Hawaii. What?
wow. The country that won't let you take an orange out,
You can't take an orange?
they stole all my fruit. Hawaii, you can't bring nothing in or out.
What?
Yeah, because they're trying to like protect their land and their people, so they don't want nothing that's not. You can't take it over here because you might try to grow a Hawaiian orange tree back in this mainland, and you can't bring nothing
This is
in.
dumb, man.
Yeah,
I
no
was on.
in or out.
I did a podcast like
You
a
would have
week
thought I had a gun in my bag the way they took that fruit from me.
It's ridiculous. I did a podcast a week and some change back with two Hawaiians, and I was asking them about, COVID and whatnot. They said it's so horrible over here that you walk outside of your mailbox, you better let the police officer know that you're coming to check the mail, because they will sit here and find you and arrest you at your own house, like for leaving the house. I'm like, I said, okay, let's think critically and logically here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say everybody's inside the house,
Mm-hmm.
then what? Like, is COVID gone? Are you gonna plan on keeping y'all in the house until COVID goes
Right,
away? What
right.
what sense? What sense? Let's just think logically here, okay? What is keeping people in the house gonna do to stop COVID from spreading? Because even if it, like, what sense does it make? I just want to know, like, okay, we walk out, because this is what people don't understand. If you're
Right,
breathing in the same toxins and air that is in your house, You're not
Right.
gonna get better. You got to go outside for fresh air.
Fresh air. Uh-huh.
So what sense does it make to keeping us all inside the house? What I did, I'm a conspiracy theorist anyway.
Me too.
So I did never understood the purpose of, if you, I mean, I understand if you're sick, you do want to stay home to get better before you come out to the
Right.
public and everything else like that. But at the same exact time, after a year, don't you think it's been a long enough time? Should we not?
Right. It's
Why
just
is Hawaii the
is
only
it
place
in
that's
the
shut
air?
down?
Yeah, I don't know. At first, I don't know how it is now, but when you could travel still, you had to quarantine in Hawaii and they don't pay for none of your stuff. And I'm like, if you're not planning on going somewhere for like a whole month, you might as well not even go, especially to Hawaii, because you got to pay for your own hotel, all your food, and everything.
How did
No.
you so I take it you do travel a lot and stuff. That's actually like pretty cool that you went. I was supposed to go last year in May, but that was
Yeah.
when the start of the COVID. So I got my money back, thankfully, except for one. I didn't get the money back for the hotel. But the flight tickets I got, that was the most important
Mm-hmm.
because that was the most expensive.
So yeah.
So how did you how many states off top of your head would you say on average you travel to thus far?
Ooh.
I've been to 18.
Dang. I don't think I've been to that many. Maybe 10.
Okay. What's been your favorite state and least favorite state?
Least favorite state is North Carolina. It's boring.
Really? Have you been to Arkansas?
I have not.
That's gonna top North
Arkansas.
Carolina. That's
I
gonna
have
top
not
North
been to
Carolina.
Arkansas.
That's gonna top North Carolina. Cause I'm like, and I was in the country, and I'm like, I had a mosquito follow me underneath the water and still bit me. And like
Oh no, they
I
so
really
desperate.
they are gangster, man. Those mosquitoes are some gangster mosquitoes, man.
Girl, yeah. My mom lives in North Carolina, so when I go down there, I really can't stay longer than 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is pushing it. And I took some time off during COVID, and I went to my mom's house. The kids are virtual learning. I'm not physically at work, so I said I'm gonna go to my mom's house. I said, Mom, before I drive all the way down here, do you have Wi-Fi? My mom said, Yeah, I have Wi-Fi. We get all the way to Fayetteville, North Carolina, okay, from the DC area. And why she only had hotspot?
You listen, you had to specify now, sis. You had to specify which type of, what do you have, Mom? What do you have? Have you tried traveling to other have you tried traveling to other cities in North Carolina just to make it, a little bit more interesting and fun?
I think I went to, I don't know what city it was because I never really paid any attention. But when we go down there, we try to go to like this open water park. It's kind of weird a little bit, but
All right, open water park.
that's the only thing that I know that's over there to do. It's a lake, but they have slides and stuff like that. But all you just go into the lake.
Okay. How was the lake? How was it?
It was nice though. It was really nice. It's the only thing that I know that's down there to do. So they have like this huge picnic area. You can barbecue and all that stuff. So when we go down there over the summer, that's what we do. Eventually, I'm gonna find something else to do. But until then, but yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. But like 2 weeks tops, and I'm out of there because I'm just like, We only stayed for a week when I went down there for the virtual learning because I'm like, now we have 4 laptops and a Fire Stick trying to operate off of everybody's hotspot was gone in the week. I'm like, all right, I gotta go because I don't have no hotspot. The girls got to do school. We used up my mom's hotspot, my hotspot, and then we did the girls' hotspots, and that was it. I was like, that was 4 days. We out of here.
Well, you know your mom's like about 50, right? She don't give a damn about all that. Like, listen, she got other
Like, I
stuff.
don't know. I use it from my phone. I'm like, that's hot. It's not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, mom don't care, man. She at the AARP age, all right. She done lived her life and done did everything.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I said I was gonna throw her a nice big 50th birthday party or do something nice for her or something. I haven't figured out what it is yet. Maybe I'll take her to the spa or something like that. But 50 is a big number. So her birthday's in May. So I got some time to figure it out.
Okay. All right, May birthdays. Okay. All right
Mhm.
then. Because you
Yeah,
said your
it's my
birthday's in May, or is your
uncle.
birthday in June?
Yeah, my birthday's in June. My mom, my uncle, my daughter birthdays are all back to back. So the 14th, the 16th, and the 18th. It's crazy.
I'm the 17th.
Mm.
You know
Oh,
what? You know what the thing about
my
my
son's in the
birthday?
Taurus.
You know what the thing about with my birthday is the fact that like my birthday is like the third week of like the last coming up until last week of school. So I hated having to bring cupcakes to school,
Oh,
for
right,
my friends,
right.
and everybody's like, "Can I get a cupcake?" And I didn't you just
Right.
like diss me in a few minutes
Right.
ago?
I didn't forget.
Like I hated that. Like I wanted my birthday to be in the summertime, but then if my birthday was in the summertime, like who's gonna come actually support and come to my birthday parties or whatever
No
else it may
one.
be?
No one. My birthday's in the summer. I
What
never
would you
have
guys? What would y'all typically do on your birthday?
go to like Six Flags, King's
With the
Dominion.
same people?
My family, no. It's summer vacation. No one's home. No one is home. Everybody out with their family on vacation. They done went to grandma, cousin, uncle, sister. No one's home. I never really. I stopped having my last party
Mm-hmm.
was 16, but I didn't really have a party. I didn't never have parties before that. So it was like I had a large gap. I remember having a party when I was younger, and then there was a large gap of no parties, but we just always did something because my birthday's in the summer. So it's like nobody to invite. I didn't have a lot of cousins because I'm the oldest. Like everyone's, way younger than me. Like my oldest cousin is 21.
Mm-hmm.
So he was net like, yeah.
You know what, sis? That is
So
that
you
I
don't
hate
want your
that.
birthday to be in the summer. You wasn't gonna celebrate with nobody.
Well, and here's the thing, right? But even like with my birthday being like like within the last week of school, I've never had any like big birthday parties, right? I've never had no type of. I remember watching my Super Sweet 16, and
Oh yeah, I
I
never.
wanted that, but you have to realize I had to learn like if your parents don't have money, if you're not that well off, you're not gonna get that. You're not. I still to this day, I have not had no type of extravagant birthday like where literally it was like oh my gosh top tier. I will tell you my best birthday was my 18th. My 18th
Mm-hmm.
birthday was the best
Mm-hmm.
birthday I've had thus far.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was just with my one of my good guy friends, and it was like a family event. He's family,
Right.
so he introduced me to one of his homeboys, and we
Right.
were just sitting watching movies I've never seen before, and
Okay.
we ate food. Like it was like a nice little family. Like I was
Yeah.
there like a
Yeah.
pretty much a
Family
work day.
gathering, really nice.
It was nice. That was the best one I've had thus far. But since then, like I said, and then on top of that, as when you get older, if you want to have an extravagant birthday, you have to save your money or
Right.
invest into something that you're gonna reap the benefits of it. And
Exactly.
I didn't really know nothing about savings until a few years ago.
Very.
So I try to like every year do something really great and everything else like that. But
Mhm.
like I said, I've never had like this extravagant birthday and everything else where I'm like, okay, like I'm really going off. I'm on a yacht party or something. I'm in Dubai or whatever else it
Right.
may be.
Right.
It's
Right.
always been, something simple.
Yeah. And that's as long as it's memorable and you were excited, I feel like those are the moments that really matter. Because I feel like my sister-in-law had a really big 16th birthday party. I'm talking about they literally rolled out the red carpet. So she had a nice birthday party. I looked like I on my 16th birthday, I looked like a small child. I got rid of all the pictures.
Mhm.
I don't know what I thought I was wearing. Some pink plaid skirt with a pink off the shoulder, one of the ones that flip down like this
Mm-hmm.
sweater. I don't know what I was wearing. I got rid of all the pictures. It never happened. And then my 18th birthday, I had a baby. It was me and my youngest daughter's birthday is on the same day, so it's just like drag. That's
Really? Hold
how
on. You
really
you and
never
your
had a
youngest? Okay.
birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was just really, I never had a birthday after that for a while. It was just like doing stuff for her or whatever. And then that's how I ended up going to Hawaii. I went to Hawaii 2 years ago for my birthday. And then the year after Hawaii, I went to St. Thomas, and then this year I went to Miami and Atlanta. So I've been trying to do little stuff for
Well,
myself.
that's good.
Yeah.
Look, I ain't been out the country yet, so you doing better than me.
Technically, St. Thomas isn't out the country.
Where's it? Where is it?
It's U.S. territory.
Oh, I can just get. Did you have to get And you went there this year?
Yeah, I went.
No, last year.
I went 2 years ago. Like right the 2000. No, I said 2 years ago. I lied. I went in 2018. Lord, it's the whole. It's the year we skipped. It's 2020.
Okay, cool. So I don't even think I have. You didn't have to have a passport, did you?
No, you don't have to have a passport to go to St. Thomas because it's U.S. territory.
I wonder, do you have to worry about like with the
No,
COVID thing?
I got my passport. I got my passport the next. I got my passport the next year. So I was supposed to go to Spain,
Mhm.
but I missed out on the Spain trip because my passport didn't come in time. So that's how I ended up going to Hawaii. I'm like, I need to be on somebody's island doing something. So my passport came, but then my daughter's passport didn't come.
Mhm.
So it was like Hawaii it is somewhere. So that's how I ended up in Hawaii.
Got you. All right, I'm gonna definitely look that up.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
go to
definitely.
St. Thomas. It's beautiful. No passport needed.
I hope I gotta look up, figure out what's about the COVID
San
restrictions.
Juan too, right? Yeah, Puerto
Mhm.
Rico too.
Mhm.
So you can get to some nice tropical places with no passport.
I
Definitely.
mean, I got a passport. I'm thinking about like the COVID restrictions and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know about what St. Thomas got, but Puerto Rico. Dang, what did you need for Puerto Rico? I don't think that they required. I think they just did the 3 day thing for San
Mhm.
Juan. Like you got to have the negative COVID test for 3 days or something like that. I think that was the only thing. But
Got
I'm
you.
gonna ask my friends because they actually getting ready to go to San Juan tomorrow.
Okay. All
I'm gonna
right
ask
then.
them. Yeah.
Well, that definitely works. That definitely works.
I love traveling. I worked for like the airline for a few
Mhm.
years. I just stopped working in the industry because I'm like, I really want to focus on my podcast. I want to focus on this media stuff. I want to get back into building my business. And the day job is just kind of like in the way. And I just needed some time to kind of build on what I'm working on.
What position? What job? Like, what extra job did you do when you did the airlines?
I was a gate agent, like the person that scans your ticket.
Yeah. Did you ever have to almost throw hands at somebody because they were
Girl,
upset with
every
you?
day, every
Were you?
day.
Was
It
this
was
a
never
spirit? Was
a
it spirit?
day.
Was it spirit that you were working on?
It was not. It was American Airlines, and those are the most bougiest passengers people you will ever come across. Any other, they be chilling at the other air. Well, I can't say it all the other ones, but definitely those people are crazy. They throw suitcases. They be yelling. This one man got naked. Oh my God. I'm like, why they always taking their clothes off? That is a popular thing amongst angry travelers. They at some point they start taking off all their clothes. I don't know what point they're trying to prove, but I just
Did it look like an uncooked chicken leg?
he ain't make it that far.
Do you press a button so you can have security like?
No, but there's always police around. Like we can always call the police. They just like last year came up with a radio code for it. I forgot what it was, but it was like you just say this code over the radio and then they'll call the police to have them come. But sometimes those airport police, I don't know what they be doing.
They
But a
take
couple of
forever
weeks
to finally show
ago,
up.
it took a passenger threw a suitcase at an agent, and it took the police 20 minutes to get there. I'm
They
like,
they were they
y'all
were
work.
they were on break. That's all it
Mind you,
was.
I'm not going to blame them 100% because they just changed the TSA, and there's only two entrances now instead of the five. And it definitely takes 20 minutes to get from one side to the other side. So they probably was on their way in all fairness. I counted it down. It took 20 minutes to get from the ticket counter to the gate. I timed it. I'm like, that is too
But
long.
I mean, but here's my thing. It should just be one on each, like like on the concourse, or where you're
It
at.
is.
There
That's
should be
how it is
one.
now. But they're on opposite ends. So say it's like it's one on this side, and then you got all the ticket counters and stuff upstairs, and then there's one on that side. So if you go this way, either way you do it, it's the same setup. So you got to go upstairs, check your bags and all that stuff like that. Then you got to go downstairs, stand in the long TSA line, because they thought they was gonna make more space. And child, when I'm telling you that line was doing triple doubles, I'm like, so y'all did all this to have less space? I barely made it out alive. I walked the customer down, a special assist customer, to make sure I put them in the front of the line. Well, as front as I could get them. Like I escorted them, and I barely made it out of there alive. I got stopped by every person on my way from escorting them back to the ticket. Do you know if this? Do you know how to? Do you know? I ran. I can't make this up. I literally just started running. I did like a little quick jog. I barely made it out. The line was looping around like this. It was going like this. I was like, where does the line end?
It doesn't.
I was like, y'all know the line is crazy, right? They said, yeah, but it's nowhere to put them. I'm like, so they did all this, spent all these billions of dollars just for the line to have less space. It takes too long to go from one end to the other one. On both sides, they do the same exact thing. And then once you get through TSA, now the way that it's set up is like it's kind of like a block. So on this side is where the original lines were, but now the lines are on this side. So you still have to come to this side. It's just open now. But now you got to go to wherever your terminal is. So it takes a long time, girl. I'm like, this was not smart. It sounded good when they were talking about it, but now seeing it done, complete inconvenience. Upstairs, downstairs, around the corner, around and around. I'm like, yeah, somebody didn't think this through. If they wanted to waste $1 billion, they could have just put it in my bank
Mm-hmm. Well, that wouldn't be a
account.
waste. That would be
You know?
like, I can so I just wonder. I'm like, why is that the passengers just get so upset to want to throw stuff at you?
Girl, it could be anything. A snowstorm. Girl, when I'm telling you, can't make this up. This one girl, couple months ago, she was getting married. They was going to Atlanta for the wedding. Down there with you, okay? She in DC. Her husband and the friends drove. Their flight got delayed, so the husband and the friends decided to drive. She wanted to stay and have some more extra fun in the DC area. The new flight she was on got delayed. She was going to be late to her own wedding because now she had to leave the next day, wasn't going to get to Atlanta till 1 o'clock. Guess what time the wedding's supposed to start?
11 a.m.
1 o'clock.
Oh wow.
So she was going to get there at 1, still got to get her hair, makeup, dress. I don't think that wedding probably started for about till 5. I'm like, yo, I hope she got some extra time on the venue, because they just get mad because they choose to make stupid mistakes. Like people will come up to the gate late. Like we supposed to close the doors 10 minutes before. They
Mm-hmm.
upped it to 15 minutes, but didn't tell at first they didn't tell the passengers. They still was aware of the 10 minutes. So when they would get there and the doors would be closed, you closed the door early. I was going da da da. I'm just like, so you just got through TSA? Everybody, there's late travelers. They like it. It's something about the thrill that they get showing up to the airport while their flight is boarding. Then they get mad when the TSA line is long, because that's what the line was long at TSA. Why are you just getting here?
Try like, and that's the
You
thing.
know the
Like
line long. You know
you
the
all,
line
my
is
my
long.
dad always taught me, like, you always show 2 hours before your flight because you never know, and that's
You
what I
got to
do.
show up 2 hours, especially if you're checking bags. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you're going domestic, it's 2 hours. International is 4 hours, because we have to have time to put your information in, check the bag. The bag got to go through 1,001 conveyor belts before it ever touches a plane. All types of security checks, and then TSA sits in the back. So you never know if they might want to check your bag. They check bags randomly in the back. So, people be putting the locks on their bag, and TSA will cut that joint off, and go through your bag just because random security check. So you never know what's going to happen with your bag. You got to have time for them to do all that extra stuff. So, girl, and they
And here, but here's my thing about it, right? Here's my thing. So, okay, so I got a question for you.
okay,
They'll open up your bag. Let's say you have lotion, depending on, like, there's some things when you're going through actual TSA, they will throw that lotion away. But if it's in your bag, they're not gonna touch it. They're just mainly looking
yeah.
for, like,
I think
drug
in the back
paraphernalia.
we check it. Yeah.
So here's my question: how do people still sneak on weed and weapons? Like, people can still do that.
Truth be told, it's not that hard. Just TSA is finicky, but they have new machines now. And I don't think nothing is getting through that new machine because the new machine, you know how before you had to take out your laptop and all that stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that? You don't have to do that anymore with the new machine. It's not, they don't have it up everywhere yet, but a lot of the airports that I've been to do have that newer machine. But before with the old machines, it's just finicky. Like anything could throw it off. And I think weed is probably one of the easiest things to sneak on because if you close it up well enough, wrap it up, hide it under some shirts, they can't see it. They no one's looking at it when you check it. It goes through a small little screening thing, but they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for like knives and weapons and stuff like that. Ain't nobody trying to figure out what the gigantic t-shirt in your bag is. I don't know. They just really finicky. And then the rules change depending on the airport that you go to. Like they're not consistent. So I think that's what makes it. One time I snuck a knife on accident. I used to keep a knife in my purse all
Mm-hmm.
the time. One of them Batman knives that flip out like this,
Mm-hmm.
and it had the holes for your fingers in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband that gave it to me, so I just always kept it in my purse. But I kept it in the pocket, and for whatever reason, I just had all my change in there too. Like I always had a bunch of quarters, pennies, and whatever. And I didn't think about it while I was traveling that this big ass knife is in my bag. But it made it on all of my flights except the last one because I was looking for something in my purse and was like, I threw it in the trash. I was like, this is gonna be the time because I saw it that now they gonna see it and I'm gonna go to jail. So I threw it in the trash. That was the end of the night. So I just think the machine is finicky depending on what's being covered. How is the item being covered up? Not those new machines though. Because
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of wonder. I'm like, bro, how do y'all able to sneak this type of stuff on? But hey,
they might know a flight attendant or two. Their bags don't get checked. You remember that flight attendant got caught sneaking all the cocaine through? None of their bags get
no,
checked.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, because they go through the flight attendants and the crew members. They go through like a known traveler system
Mhm.
where none of their bags and stuff get checked because apparently they've went through extensive background checks. So their luggage will only get checked at random. Yeah, so I guess she had her little random, have cocaine, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and she was just sneaking it all over the
Just
country.
why not just like drive it across the. I would just if I'm transporting stuff, I would just drive it
But she knew
across.
nobody was going to check her bag. She was getting away with it for years. Their bags don't get checked.
I understand, but at some point when you keep doing wrong, it's gonna catch back up to you. I would just drive it. I don't mind driving. It's gonna take you longer, but hey, at least you can just drive it across. And don't speed. Do the speed limit. Don't have tinted windows.
Yeah, I don't know, girl. People be getting all kinds of stuff on these planes because it's like it's not the best security, but they catch it when they catch it and they don't when they don't. It's just up to you. And then even when you're trying to do something legally, it all different states have different rules, right?
Yeah,
So New York, right? Guns are illegal.
of
Doesn't matter if
course.
you're
They
licensed,
would they would lock
certified,
take lock
whatever,
you up.
right? But you can check your gun in your bag as long as the chamber is empty, the bullets are separated from the weapon, and the clip is out. And you have to have it in a case with, a certain amount of locks on it and a code. There's regulations. You can bring your weapons with you in your checked luggage if it's secured properly. So I remember my ex-husband, right? He was looking up all the rules and the laws and stuff like that. So whatever he read, he must have misinformed. So the gun made it to New York. Okay. It made it there. He was in New York for about a week or so. It wasn't until he tried to leave that they arrested him. Licensed to carry, in the military. The gun was packed properly. He made it to your state and was there for a whole week. You waited till he was trying to leave to arrest him.
That's a lawsuit right there. That's a lawsuit, honey.
So, like I said, it's like the security, not all that great. Like, how he get here with it? But when you're trying to leave, it's illegal. Like, so I think he was in jail for like 2 days or something like that. But they ended up.
What's his jail name? What they call him?
What's his jail name?
What they call him?
I don't know, girl. I don't know. He in there still to this day. Not from that, but for a different thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's how you end that conversation.
So yeah, it was crazy, but it's finicky at best.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I need to go eat some food because I just rushed on the podcast. I drank some water though. I made sure to brush my teeth. Shout out to the people.
I'm glad you woke up because you said you wake up at 10. I'm like, okay.
Well, no. Here's the thing, right? I went to bed. I got random people living in my house. I don't know how these people got here. Okay, which is another reason why I'm trying.
I don't know how they got here.
Hey, I don't know how these people got here. All right, which is another reason why I'm doing all these podcasts so I can get the hell out of my Section 8 neighborhood and leave these people where they're at, and I can go and be away from civilization.
You hear me?
I don't want to be. I don't, so that's why I do all these podcasts because you never know who's listening. And they're like, okay, I'm just going to give Kyndra $1 million for no reason. I don't want nothing. Here you go. Start your own business. Like you have good people like that in the world, man, but there's somewhere. But yeah, but no, what happened was one of the people who was staying here, like it was I guess late. He did like a passenger thing, like you're late to your he was late, I guess, running for work and was trying to get somebody to take him and like woke me up, and then I went back to sleep. Like woke up the whole house. Then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up again, and I was like, okay, it's like 10:20 right now. Wake up, go get yourself ready. So I had to go ahead and do all that.
I'm glad you got up. I'm glad it all worked out. I'm so happy that you were here. I'm glad that I can kind of start off fresh. I'm doing some revamping, so I'm glad I got to start off fresh with you. I appreciate you for reaching out because that just shows me, like, again, you never know who's listening. So that gave me some encouragement to kind of move forward and just kind of like keep going. So I appreciate it.
Of course. No, and thank you for reaching out. Y'all, let me tell y'all how professional she is, right? My email was like sitting, just chilling, waiting for her to open up. She's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I'm just seeing this. And then she sent me a message on IG saying, listen, sis, I got your email. You better respond. Do you want to get on this?
Oh my God. I was like, this is crazy. I look at my email every day. I don't know how that got past me. So that was amazing. We gotta do another segment too. So on my radio show, the podcast will be a little long, but they only give you about 10 minutes for the radio. So we gotta do this again on your next day when you're free, so we can do the radio interview. We gotta expose each other, okay?
That's true.
Make sure you listening in. Make sure y'all listening, okay? Apple Music, tune in at K-pop 101.2 on Apple Music. One shout, put your stuff out there. Make sure y'all follow Kyndra. Give them your IG, all your social media handles.
Instagram is the Kyndra Crump Show. So the is in the KYN as in Nancy DRA, CRUM as in Mary P's and Paul Show, SHOW. My YouTube is Kyndra Crump, KYNDRA space CRUMP. So that's it.
All right. Thank you, girl. Later.
Take care, sis.
Bye.